Hey, today we are making a chili and we are using the black soybeans and it is delicious. This is a low carb chili, so stay tuned if you want to see the macros. Yeah. Hi, this is Terry. I've been maintaining a 180-pound weight loss for over a year with a clean, whole foods, meat-focused, low-carb, low-calorie approach. First off, to get this started, we have on our Jesus apron. Mary Ann sent me this apron, and in the description of all my videos, I have my Amazon storefront, and so there's a link in that Amazon storefront to aprons just like this one if you want to get one. So there's all kinds of stuff in that storefront. But to get this started, we're going to need a big pot, and I'm letting it heat up. So along with making this, I'm going to show you how I build a recipe, how I write everything down, how I plug it into an app so that I can figure out what macros and what serving sizes I need for my way of eating. So we're going to start off with this onion and pepper blend from Great Value. And I will write down that it is 567 grams. So I'll write down GV pep and onion blend 567 grams. I'm going to saute these up first. And the reason why I like to get all the macros and everything the first time I cook it. And then when I plug it into my tracker app, you know, whenever I'm in weight loss mode, when I plug it in, all I have to do is plug it in as a recipe. And then anytime I make it, all I have to do is add that serving, and it tells me right there all the macros. Not only does it tell me the macros, but if I am not counting or tracking, I can get the measurements for approximately what my meals are. And then I know that when I pull it out, eating this is going to be about the same amount of calories, which is what I'm focused on, calories and low carb. Not keto right now. But anyway, by tracking that, it tells me what I can look at it and say, okay, well, I can add this to it, or I can have this much food to it. That's 1 tablespoon tallow. But you got to write every single thing down when you're making your recipe. So I'm going to kind of cover this and let all the liquid come out. Let the vegetables defrost and let the tallow melt. So I'm going to kind of let that going for a little bit, and I'll be right back. The tallow is melting, and the liquid from the frozen vegetables is starting to come out. So we're going to add some seasonings. You add whatever seasonings works for you. I'm going to add whatever seasonings strike me, whatever I want. So this is going to be 1 teaspoon, not that little thing. 1 teaspoon of onion powder. List over here. OP 1 teaspoon. I'm gonna leave them out because I'll probably also season the meat. Then this is not onion powder, it's onion salt. So then garlic salt, I'll do 1 teaspoon. Next we'll do 1 teaspoon of chili powder. Mette taught me about using ginger in my chili. So I'm going to do 1 teaspoon of ginger. This is ground ginger. 1 teaspoon of ground coriander. Do 1 teaspoon of ground turmeric. This is just the base layer. I'm going to be adding more, like I said, later on. Then This is 1 teaspoon of tomato bouillon with chicken. We're going to also add, this is some umami that I have. We're going to do 1 teaspoon of umami. And lastly, 1 teaspoon of cumin. I'm going to give this a stir, and I'm going to let all this kind of saute and take on the flavors that we just put in it. And I did not add, as you'll notice, any plain salt because the onion salt and garlic salt. So we can add salt later. So now I'm just going to let this saute and let the water cook out of it and let it kind of soften up, and I want it to get good and tender. Look, I had to go get these. I keep splashing myself in the glasses. So I had to go in my bathroom and get some lens cleaners. So I'm good with this. The water has gone out of it, or the water is out of the vegetables, and what's in the bottom is starting to thicken up. So now what I'm going to do, and I apologize, I know some of y'all are not going to like what I'm about to do, but you know what? This is what I do. You can wash all the dishes you want to and do what's best for you and your body. But I'm about to pour this into a plastic lined container. And yeah, so I'm not trying to trigger anybody, but this is just, I'm just going to live my life. And those who get mad, well, y'all can just get mad. Or you can come over to my house and wash my dishes on meal prep day. I'm okay with that. Now, if you want to come over to my house and wash all the dishes I go through, yeah, buddy, I will dirty up all the dishes. And you can just wash them. Now we're going to add in, I have 3 pounds of ground beef. These are what was in my freezer. This is 2 that are the 93% and 1 is 85%. So I'm going to pull these out and I'm going to plop them right down into the bottom of this pan. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go in with my meat chopper to break it up a little bit. I'm going to go in and add 1 teaspoon of all the seasonings that I just did with my vegetables. So now I have 1 teaspoon of the seasonings in the vegetables, 1 teaspoon of the vegetables in the meat. Y'all don't see me use this method of cooking my ground beef on the stove very often, do you? Bet you didn't know I knew how to do it. This is actually how I did it before I realized that I could batch cook ground beef in a crock pot. Some of my older videos, like the old videos when I was carnivore, if you go back, you'll see me doing this back then. So now I'm going to just let this brown up, and when it's all browned up, I'll get back with you. The cool thing about using lean meat is you don't have to strain out a whole bunch of liquid or a bunch of rendered fat. I'm going to leave what's in there. Yes, I know some people keep all the fat in there, and that's okay too. Again, I'm making this for Terry. So now I'm going to put my vegetables back in here. And hopefully not make a mess. Next up, I had bought these black soybeans. So 1 serving is a ½ cup, and that is 11, it has 11 grams of carbs, 6 fiber. So if you're doing net carbs, it's 5 net carbs, 130 calories. And I did 2 cans, and I rinsed them out, and I rinsed them off real good. And I weighed them after being rinsed, and it is 510 grams of the soybeans. So we're going to stir all this together, and then we'll give it a little taste. I'm going to turn this way down, because now we're just going to let it simmer for a while. We might have to add some more liquid to it. We might have to add more seasonings to it. But for now, we're just going to mix it all together. I could have added the liquid from the soybeans, but I really wanted an accurate weight of the soybeans and not include the liquid. I'm gonna cover it and let it simmer, so it's gonna create more juices along the way too. And I'm probably gonna add some tomato paste as well. But one step at a time, Terry. I'm actually probably gonna add some kind of canned tomatoes. I want to give this a taste so I know about seasonings. I want to get a bean, and I know the beans are not hot, and I want an onion and a pepper. But like I said, we're just finding seasoning first. Hey. That's a good combination of flavoring. Good job, Terry. What I would say is missing is definitely more of the tomato flavor. So I'm going to add some more of this tomato bouillon. Again, I've kept track of everything. So I'm going to add 2 more tomato bouillon, 2 more teaspoons. So I'll write down that it was 4. If I find my pen. So for the tomato bouillon, I'm going to put 4 teaspoons. Now, if you want to be precise with your recipe, when you plug this into your tracker app, you would put in all the seasonings. I don't typically. I'm not saying I shouldn't, but I typically don't. But that's really good. The only thing missing that I feel like is really missing from this is the tomato flavor that you get in, you know, regular store-bought chili, or rather your regular restaurant chili, that real strong tomato flavor. Which, like I said, I'm going to add some kind of tomato something here in a minute. That's good, y'all. I'm going to let this simmer for a few minutes while I figure out what kind of canned tomatoes I'm going to put in there. So I'll be back in just a couple minutes. Okay, diced tomatoes. And tomato sauce. It's good if you can save the containers, because then when you're plugging everything into your site, whatever app you're using, you can just scan it and plug in however much of it was. Now, you know me, I've got to be adding some Mina harissa because I just love it. So I'm going to zero it out right here. And whatever is negative is how much I know I added. So I'll put in 1 tablespoon, or I don't know, however much that is. Now let me weigh it. 36 grams. So harissa is 36 grams. Now I'm going to get this all stirred in and I'll be right back. Alright, let's give it a taste. I want to get some meat, a little tomato, and onion and pepper. That right there. Now we're just going to turn it on low and let it simmer for a couple hours. And we're going to go over here and plug this all into the app. Okay, so I'm going to be showing you Chronometer. There's tons of apps. You do whatever app you want. With Chronometer, you go to food and then you create a recipe. I have 39 recipes. You give it a name. I'm going to say low carb chili. And I'm going to go on and put in December and put 2023. So it kind of, I like putting in a date. I haven't always, but I'm going to. So now you just said after you put in your title, you click add ingredients. You can either search or you can scan. Well, I'm going to scan. So I can scan the barcodes, if I can find them. Okay, so it's a great value onion and pepper brand, except for I need my amounts. Hold on. Okay, so you pick whichever option you want. Great value onion and pepper blend. And then I have grams, and so now I'm going to plug in 567. 567. And I add the recipe, and that adds your fat. Now I'm gonna have to do a search because I'm gonna type in TALLOW, beef tallow, and it was 1 tablespoon, so I'm just gonna add that to the recipe. Now we're gonna add these beans, so I'll click the little scan button. Black soybeans, and they're Eden. I don't know what these different letters mean at the end of it. One of them is FDC, one is CRDP, DB. I have no idea. You just pick whatever blows your heart, makes your heart happy. I just pick grams, and it's 510 grams, and I add that to the recipe. Ground beef, so now I'll say, a lot of times if you type in 93, automatically 93% ground beef is going to show up. So 93, I want one with the grams. So again, change it to, oh no, I want it in pounds. Hey Ziggy, how many ounces in 1 pound? 16. I think 16. Ziggy, how many ounces in a pound?
1 pound is 16 ounces.
Okay, I thought it was 16. So, but the 93% there's 2 pounds of, so that would be 32 grams. So I add the recipe. And now we're going to add 85% ground beef. And again, we're going to look for ounces, and that'll be 16. Add the recipe. So there's our ground beef. And now we're going to add this tomato paste. So I'm going to click the little scanner. The reason why, 2 things. I want you to know why my app that I use and why you need to know how you build your own recipe. Why the app I use, you can choose if you, wait, let me put this in and then I'll quit talking. The cento, I use 29 grams. So 29. This app allows me, I can't take it away from this screen, but you can choose whether you want total carbs or whether you want net carbs. If you choose net carbs, you can decide if you want the fiber from fruit to count against you or for you. You can choose the sugar alcohols to count against you or for you. So I like this app because in my mind, it's a little more keto focused because I did not care about having fiber count against me. You know, vegetables and fruit is not what made me fat in the first place. Sugar alcohols, that's not a whole food, so I have that count against me. So if I plugged in 30 carbs, if something was 30 carbs and 10 carbs was fiber, I let it pull that out and make it be 20 net carbs. If 30 carbs and 10 of them was sugar alcohols, I let it stay 30 carbs because to me, the sugar alcohols is not necessarily overly healthy for what I needed. So that's why I chose this particular app. There's tons of them out there. You pick your own. Why you need to know how to build a recipe. Listen, y'all got to know how to do stuff for yourself. You can't just follow somebody and do exactly what they do. At some point, it ain't going to work for you. I did that for 2 years. 2 years I ate carnivore and I followed exactly what all those big influencers were saying. 2 pounds of meat a day and I'm this size, that's all I eat. Well, I did that and I stalled for 7 months. So I had to come up with my own method. So you have to learn stuff. Do you have to do it at the beginning? Nah, you don't have to do it right at the beginning, but you do have to learn it. Because if you want to live this life, that's the kicker. You want to live a healthy life, you got to figure out how to do it for you and not rely on other people to do it for you. Okay, I'm off my soapbox. Next, we're going to add tomato paste. Oh, no, tomato sauce. So I'll set up my little thing, and I'll add ingredient, and I'll scan it. And the amount of sauce was 227 grams. So I picked the little grams and type 227. Add the recipe. I think that was 227. Yeah. And we've got 3 more things to scan. 2 more things to scan. So we have the diced tomatoes. And diced tomatoes had 441 grams. So change it to grams. And 441. Add the recipe. And then the last thing was the harissa sauce. So again, I'm going to scan it. I have not figured out how to use this. This iPad's new. I've had it about 2 weeks and I have never done a recipe into it. And 36 grams. So again, change it to grams and write in 36 and add the recipe. So next, for me, how I do this is then I hit the next button. And then over here, it says how many servings. Well, I don't know right yet because I want to see what the whole thing weighs. So I'm going to hit the next button. And this is where later on I will go in and I will type all this out and I can put in the ingredients. But we're not there yet. So I see that the whole thing that I just made was 3,326 calories with 108, I think that's total carbs. Let me scroll down here. Yep. So 108 total carbs and 38 fiber. So either 108 total carbs or net carbs, 8 minus 8 is 0, 10, 9, 8, 9, 8, 7. Or 70 net carbs. So now, okay, fine. So let's go back up here. So now we have to figure out how many servings we want that to be. And that requires a conversation with Alexa. So, Ziggy, what is 3,326 divided by 600?
3,326 divided by 600 is approximately 5.5433.
So 5.5. So I want to whittle it down to just 5 servings. Because, you know, when I eat, actually, Ziggy, how many calories is in 7 ounces of 85% ground beef? Okay, it took a lot of figuring out between me and my Alexa, but my 7 ounces of ground beef is about 420 calories. So instead, we're going to say, Ziggy, 3,326 divided by 500.
3,326 divided by 500 is 6.652.
So 6. So we'll say 6 servings. So I want to make this into 6 servings. So we go back. Don't hit the X because then that takes away. You want to hit the back button and the back button. And how many servings per recipe? Sometimes you can just put in a number and see what happens. So let's see what 6 servings is in calories. So you hit the next and the next. And up here, instead of full recipe, you hit a serving, which is 500. So 554 calories if we make it into 6 servings. So 554. So it's a little over 100 calories more than just my plain ground beef. But when I'm eating my plain ground beef, I'm adding ketchup, I'm adding pasta sauce, I'm adding all kinds of things. So I feel like that will be an okay amount. So I want to go back. I want to make sure I have it right. Serving, I think we did 6. Is that what I did? No. If you hit the X, just hit the screen and it'll come back. So we want to go back to servings. 6 servings. So we're going to look at everything in 6 servings. If we do 6 servings, we have 554 calories. We have 55 protein. We have 18 total carbs, 27 fat. Now let's scroll down and see what the fiber is. Fiber is 6.4. Ziggy, 18 minus 6.
18 minus 6 is 12.
So if you're doing net carbs, it's 12 net carbs. So again, I am not eating strict keto. I am more low carb right now in this maintenance phase. So each serving would have 554 calories, 55 protein, 18 total carbs, 12 net carbs, and 27 fat. So that is how I put a recipe and how I figure out what I want the servings to be. If I wanted less calories, I would make it into 7 servings. If I wanted less carbs, I could make it into 7 servings. So you have to decide what you want it to be. Or you leave out the beans and then it takes out tons of calories. So now I'm going to get everything plugged in the recipe, like all the seasonings. So that way, next time I make this, all I have to do is go and it'll tell me exactly what's in it. But I'm not going to go in, and plug in the all the seasonings and search them. I just want to have in the recipe section where you type the ingredients, that's what I want to put in here. So I'm going to put all this in here and I'll get back to you. Okay, so now what I've done is I've input all the ingredients into the notes section of this recipe. So next time I choose to use this recipe, I can see exactly what I did it. So now I'll hit next and I'll hit save recipe. And so later on diary day, I can go in for my lunch. Maybe hit the plus symbol. I haven't used it since they've updated it. And I can go into my custom, I think. Is it custom? Yep. And then I'll look for my chili. I wish they had in that. Oh, they do? No, they don't have an alphabetical order. Chili, because I've made chili before, so that's why I wanted to put the date on here. Oh, here it is. Low carb, because I was looking for C for chili. Low carb chili, December 2023. So if I want to add it, I want to go in and I put serving and add to diary. And there it goes. It adds it for me and I don't have to do any thinking. So now whenever I pull this out, when I'm in calorie counting mode, I can pull this food out and there it is, ready to go. And all I have to do is have a side dish like salad or whatever to go with it. And that is how you create a recipe in this app. Again, you use whatever app you want, but you have to learn to create recipes. You have to learn how to make your own stuff. If you don't learn, you're not going to be able to go through maintenance. That's a huge, huge deal breaker. Trust me. I've done it all. My chili's been simmering for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. So now I'm going to serve it up. I don't really know how much my servings are going to be. Because when you plug everything into the tracker app, it doesn't take into account the things that, you know, that liquids are going to dehydrate. So I just go on and get them all made up. And then I weigh them and get them all weighing about the same. So that way, whatever the weight is will be approximately 1/6 of whatever food item I am making. So I'm just going to get all these divided in, all these put in 6 containers, and I will be back. Now I'm going to show you how I have to do these in order to make my brain happy. So I turn on a scale, and I just kind of get a general idea. 482, 5 something, 478, these are similar. 5 something, close to these, 545. So I'm going to make this 545 about an even 500. Let's make this about an even 500. make you about an even 500. So 512, 501, 506, 501, 500, and 516. So this is the heaviest one, but so that's how my brain tells me I need to get them as close to even as possible. And now I'll just clean off the containers and put them away, and I'll label them, and that is how I'm making my low carb chili. All right, let's give it a taste, y'all. Got some onion, pepper, a couple beans, and some tomato. That's awesome. If you're not super strict 20 or below keto, you need to check out these black beans. I got them on Amazon. It was the Eden brand. Amazon. Yeah. So, really, really good. I think I'm going to have this for my lunch today. Okay, bye.